Thank you, Roger. Thank you for your wonderful and inspiring speech. And thank you for helping organize this series of events, because it is going to be a series of events. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you Kozminski University for helping organize this event. Thank you IC for doing that as well, Media Dialogue as well. Thank you everyone, each of you for coming. And I wanted to start with just saying that we called this series of events New Dawn. And the reason for that was because there is going to be this new dawn. And as President Zelensky actually said yesterday in his evening speech, that the darkest times, they are before the dawn, usually, and that's what we hope for, that this darkest time that we live in currently, each and every one of us and each of every Ukrainian in Ukraine, in or outside Ukraine, they will come to an end. And we want to start this process of this new dawn and giving people hope that this dawn will come. It will be very soon and we are ready to meet it. And so let me just show you this, this presentation that I have prepared for this meeting, and give you a little bit of the, the background that we're currently in, and currently the costs of war, the economic costs of war, they're immense, they are huge, and that's what you see here on the screen on your computers as well. So just a couple of days ago, the World Bank released the analysis and the forecast for the economic prospects in Ukraine and also in Russia. But in Ukraine, the costs that they predict are just immense, unimaginable. So for example, they predict the GDP of Ukraine to fall by 45% just this year, the inflation to rise to 15%, and the share of population living below the poverty line to increase from 1.8 to 19.8. So it's a huge increase for a country that is in the middle of Europe, where people used to live, in relative prosperity, where we had really not that many people who were below the poverty line, and then look, fifth of the population will be out there, and moreover, almost 10 million of people are now displaced, either internationally, either here in the European countries, or internally in Ukraine. And moreover, almost 1 million people has been illegally deported to Russia, illegally deported. And among those are almost 150,000 children. This is a really, it's a war crime that no one of us can live with, that no one of us can imagine, describe, and just, stay silent and watch this happening. This is just terrible, terrible. And so, according to experts at Kyiv School of Economics, who take a very close look at the economic costs of the war, they estimate that physical damage, just the physical damage to infrastructure, roads, buildings, hospitals, etc., has been at around $80 billion. $80 billion. This is 1/3 of last year's GDP of Ukraine. 1/3 gone, just in 49 days now, just gone. And the total damage has been estimated at around $600 billion. And we are grateful, Ukraine is grateful to our partners, to the European Union, to the United States, to Australia, to Canada, to everyone who's given us help. And the majority of this help that's been announced in the media, it comes with some humanitarian aid, with some weapons that has been sent, but we also just need money to survive, right? So there is really, if you look at this chart that again has been prepared based on the estimates from Kyiv School of Economics, and that I borrowed from The Economist, the magazine, it's just, you can see that it's not only the roads, the airports, the infrastructure, the buildings, but it's also kindergartens, hospitals, schools, and there are no, military organizations or military units there. It's just unbearable to see these pictures. And indeed, so one of the goals, and as Roger here and Jan previously mentioned here, one of the goals of our series of meetings is to build this advocacy group to sustain the media attention, the civil society attention to issues connected to Ukraine, to Ukraine becoming the member of the European Union. And this is very important for us, because yes, we'll lose a lot in this war. Here I'm Ukrainian because I am Ukrainian. I associate with Ukraine. So I use this pronoun, and we lose a lot in this war. We lose, infrastructure, roads, money, but we lose, our people, which is the most valuable thing, because we lose the best people very often. Our army, it consists not only of professional military soldiers, officers, but it also consists of, singers, physicists, doctors, of engineers. These are the best people that we have in Ukraine, and we don't want to lose them. So we want to help. And even, this fact that European Union has been helping with this fast track to become a member state for Ukraine, it does help. It does help us psychologically. It does help us cope with the array of other news that is coming out out there every day, where we see these horrors and atrocities, and even just this one news can save hope and can save some positive prospects for us. So we really need to keep going, advocate for Ukraine to become a member state as soon as possible. Obviously, we're not delusional here. We don't expect this to happen in 2 months, but we want this to happen as soon as possible, and for the world to keep thinking of Ukraine and keep helping Ukraine. And so, as I said, first of all, our goal is to create this advocacy group, the group that connects the civil society, the activists, the academics, the different people, the business, and just keep talking about Ukraine, keep the interest going. We also want to create expert groups on different issues and create the guidebooks, if I may say so. The guidebooks for future reconstruction of Ukraine, and the topics are different. And we have heard all of you introduce yourselves today. Really, we are experts here in this room and also online on different topics that can help Ukraine rebuild itself, rebuild the economy, starting with the reconstruction of infrastructure, or resilience of enterprises, and efficient urban development and planning, etc., etc. So we do have terrible things happening, but we also may see these as the window of opportunity to create something better. And so we want to collect all of your ideas and work in smaller groups on specific topics to collect these ideas and then help deliver them to interested parties. And so our next steps will be to meet every 2-3 weeks in smaller groups and or bigger groups. It's up to the discussion, and just work on particular topics. And so we have discussed already, we have a couple of ideas already streamlined for the next meetings, like, for example, the resilience of the small and medium-sized enterprises in Ukraine, because it's very important that the economy actually works, it functions, so that it can also help, with later on reconstruction of the economy, financial system, etc. And also another one that we already have the scheduled date for the May 11th will be on institutional development of Ukraine. And we already have Professor Christopher Harpel as one of our key speakers on that, who's an expert in institutional development, and he's been working on Ukraine a lot for a long time. So he can also bring a lot of value to the discussion. We also plan to do the summer school for the future leaders of Ukraine, where we can, educate people and help people in, the future leaders that will actually be reconstructing Ukraine, that will actually be helping, in Ukraine in the field. And so we plan to also help them in their process. We can educate them and guide them, and so this is one of our goals as well. All of the updates for the future upcoming meetings will appear on all of our websites that you see here. So IC website, Kozminski University website, Europeans website, but also on our Facebook, LinkedIn profiles. So please make sure to like our pages and subscribe to our news. We'll be happy to see you all next times. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and for your interest in helping Ukraine.